Welcome to another episode of Doing It Cheap. Do you ever, get in the mood, you're a little bit hungry and you don't want to eat a great big meal, but just a little can of soup just ain't quite enough? Well, I'd like to show you what I do to supercharge a can of soup, chili, broth, beef stew, whatever. I'd like to show you something that I do that makes it go a little further and makes it more filling. Okay, this is real easy. If you get your can of soup, lots of them are condensed, and they say add a can of water. Well, one of the things I started doing is instead of putting soup and the water in the pot to bring it up to heat, I would just put the can, the amount of water it needs into the pot, bring it to a rapid boil, and then as soon as I put my soup in there, all I do is give it a few stirs and it was hot enough to eat. Well, my wife was buying that Campbell's chicken noodle soup, and you look at, there ain't much meat in there. They put little bitty tiny little pieces of chicken in there just so they can say it's chicken noodle. And I started looking at noodles, like people eat beef stroganoff, gravy over the noodles and all that. And I was in the grocery store and it said egg noodles. And I was at the local Chinese restaurant. They got egg drop soup. So I says to myself, I said, Self, if those noodles are egg noodles that I buy in a grocery store in a bag, then you boil them up. If these right here are super nutritious, and they're only about 70 calories each, and they're good for you, and they're high in fiber and they're filling, then why don't I incorporate eggs into whatever soup I'm eating? And I'm going to tell you something, you're going to laugh, but man, it's good with chili. Pardon the lighting, it's nighttime here, and I don't have a lot of bright lights in the kitchen. Anyway, I'm going to bring this up to a rolling boil. Let me pause this. I was talking about, on that video where I said I lost 75 pounds in less than 90 days. Well, here at home, I didn't see the need to have a whole bunch of boiled eggs on hand, because you know what? You can poach an egg, and poaching it is just putting the egg in boiling water and cooking it. You're not adding any oil or anything to it, so I figure a poached egg is the same thing as a boiled egg. But so I started eating a lot of them, and that's when I started incorporating the eggs into my soup. So we got a pretty good boil going on, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop that egg in there. I want to break the yolk. I want to break the yeller, but I really don't want to stir it up much. I just want that to cook. And what that's going to do is that's going to add some texture. It's going to make it really tasty. Right now I just want to add my salt and pepper if I want to add it. And I told you my dad blame blood pressure's up a little bit, so I'm going to back off on the salt. And heck, I think the black pepper's out there on the other table. But anyway, all I do is just bring this up to where it cooks. Now normally you wouldn't add water to chili, but it don't bother me a bit in the world. It tastes pretty good actually. And I just use it like a chili flavored soup. But you see how this is forming up here? I'm making my own egg noodles, you might say. I'm adding a lot of protein to this can of chili. And if it was a can of a condensed like chicken noodle soup, you add a lot of protein to it. You're really doing yourself a big favor by adding eggs to your can of soup or stew or vegetables, your vegetable soup, any of those things you buy in a can where you're getting them for convenience more than anything. And it's not inconvenient to add a couple of eggs, because a lot of those soups you're supposed to either add water to them, or you got to put them in a pot and boil them, or bring it up to heat. So that's pretty much done. So all I'm gonna do now is just I'm gonna add my chili in there. I could have used less water, but I don't have to worry about the egg burning this way. But this is on high heat. Oh yeah, the eggs in there good. So here in just a few seconds, that'll probably come right back up to temp. Well, that's it, folks. That's how I supercharge a can of soup or stew or chili or whatever. I pop a couple of eggs in there. Make it good. Well, this is PawPaw signing off in the kitchen. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll better tomorrow. Bye.